So I'm going to introduce our last speaker of the day, and that is Ciana Keller. That's my New England accent, so I'll say it again. Ciana Keller. How's that? Is that better? Pronouncing my R's. I'm learning to pronounce my R's. Right. She's a balanced health educator. She has books, marinating in her heart, patiently waiting to share and honor her journey. She's been a peaceful birth advocate since 2001, teaching balanced birth. Her heart-centered approach has opened many doors integrating natural childbirth, homeschooling, and young living essential oils. She has been married for 20 years with 3 children ages 17, 14, and 7. She embraces balance and growth as an everyday opportunity to pay attention to 7 areas in her life. Whether it be fitness, faith, friends, fun, family, finance, or field, she chooses to stay zen in the midst of the journey and find what is going right, going to love and gratitude to accelerate all that she does. Her talk is called I Choose Love. Please welcome to Sac Soul Talks, Ciana Keller.
Thank you. Okay, so it was really cool because my alarm just went off at 3:30, and I didn't know what the timing was going to be, but it said, be the light every day. I mean, I set that, but I forget that it goes off, and it goes off every single day, and I forget every single day that it's going to go off, so thank you. Thank you to me. So good afternoon. I am really, really, really honored to be here and finally to have accepted the invitation to say yes to the talk and say yes to me and to my heart and for all this to come out. And I touch my heart a lot, so I hope I don't interfere too much with the beautiful opportunity to be heard. So, so I gave you a little tiny treasure, a little tiny trinket, and we are going to explore this in a minute, and this will help you remember this whole journey that we've gone on in this next 20 minutes, 18 minutes, whatever. Anyway, I love parties, so I love treasures and I love little trinkets, and when you go home, I love that you have something. So that's why you got a little baggie. So just to introduce you to kind of some pieces of the puzzle of my life, which I forgot in my little intro there, thank you. It already kind of says that I've been married for 20 years in September, actually, so I was just rounding up. But I do have a 17-year-old, 14-year-old, and 7-year-old, and part of the puzzle of my life that's been giving me an opportunity to continue to grow and balance is that I'm alone about 10 months of the year because my husband travels, and he's in and out different all the time, and so I never know when he's coming or going. I just kind of keep track of when he's coming back. And then if we're going to have leftovers or if I'm going to make something fresh. So anyway, so with that said, I realized that I really needed a prescription. I needed a prescription to help me figure out how to have more physical, mental, and emotional balance. And so because I wasn't really living this life that I had imagined, that perfect life, the marriage and the white picket fence and the kids and the picture perfect date night and all that. And so I wasn't really having that, and I kind of was starting to question, what is going on here? What am I doing? What is this life? So I found a beautiful earth angel that's helped me remember all that I am and all that I want to do and all that I want to continually strive for. And so I meet with her weekly. And so she's one very important piece to my puzzle. And as I look around here, I see a couple other really important key people. Some people from Spiritual Life Center, some people from my oil community, my parents back there, and then my homeschooling mentor and one of my oldest friends. And so I just say thank you. It's totally honored to have you guys here. You have a little puzzle piece in your bag, and it's just a random puzzle piece. But I love this quote, and I've been carrying it around for years, and I never knew who wrote it until today. So because I was looking for it. You are a piece of the puzzle of someone else's life. You may never know where you fit, but others will fill the holes in their lives with pieces of you. Thank you, Bonnie. Anyway, so as you look at that puzzle piece, it'll just be a reminder that you never know who you're going to touch. You never know what seed you're going to plant. You never know what people are going to do with that little tiny information that you gave them. And sometimes you're actually lucky when people come back and tell you, I remember when you used to yell across the street to me, take a breath, are you breathing? And I thought, oh, they heard me. That's cool. Okay. So I decided at some point, and I'll tell you more about the prescription that I received. Part of it is to choose love, though. But the other part is to lean into faith. And my faith really is more about, not really tied to one sort of religion or anything. It's more about a knowing that there is something more out there. And it's really leaning into being patient and trusting. So I've decided to make friends. And I've made friends with patience. So patience is one of my friends. And people who know me know that I really have a lot of patience. And trust that tool is going to be there. So in 2009, I was introduced to some oils, and I just thought, this is cool, whatever, I like things that smell good. And so I opened up this first bottle, and I don't know, it was peppermint or lavender or something, and I thought, okay, this isn't too scary. So I took a deep breath, and I was breathing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm breathing, like I'm breathing. 2009, I already had 2 children at that point. And so you know how you're tested on your breathing, and you sometimes hold your breath, especially when I'm alone 10 months out of the year. So anyway, so this was an opportunity for me to take a deeper breath, and I said yes. And so I took another deep breath, and then I felt calm, and I felt present, and I felt connected. And then I remembered, oh, I've been leaning into faith for a long time. I trained to have these beautiful births without any kind of medical intervention, so I had to really understand mind and body connection. I had to understand breath. I had to understand physical, mental, emotional, spiritual connection, and understand my body, understand the process, and I took time to train for that experience. So as I was taking this deep breath, I was remembering, oh, I've been leaning into faith for a long time, trusting that process, trusting and having patience. I really like thinking about the river, and I spend a lot of time in nature, especially when I take the time to, right? But sometimes I can just go step out into my yard. I don't have a river in my yard, but I have water, and you can connect to anything. And I just think about floating on the river and how relaxing that sounds. Just floating on the river. And when you're floating on the river, you're really patient because you don't know how fast you're going to go. And I like the visual of just floating. And so not grabbing onto anything. And in life, if you're floating, you're just going. So one of the tools that I discovered that I have, and you have it too, and it's free, and I love free tools, is you have the ability to connect and control your breath. That is all you have control over. All you have control over is your breath. You have no control over anything else that is happening around you, to you, near you. Wherever you are, you have no control over any of that. You only have your breath and how you choose to react to it. Now, life comes in and it tests your breath. Yes, I've been tested many times, a lot over the last few months. So are you holding your breath? I have to ask myself that sometimes. Am I holding my breath? This is a tool to help. So you're wondering, well, what's the prescription, right? Well, over time, I've been to many different types of doctors, holistic people, gone to lots of self-help things, lots of workshops, yoga, meditation, you name it. They're all really important pieces of the puzzle, and as I go to those different places, I take little pieces of them, and I start creating these tools. And it's just making everything you hear your own, and you have that opportunity to take anything in and create your own. So it's really important to listen to that, and I know that. And so all is going well. And then last year, I couldn't swallow. And I felt like something was stuck in my throat. And I was like, this is so weird. And it caught my attention. And I usually can take care of most physical ailments on my own, so I don't need to run anywhere. And so I felt like, you know what, I actually don't know what this is, so I'm going to go to the regular doctor, and I'm going to embrace this opportunity to see what is going on. So after tests of uncomfortable things, I'm fine. I found out I was fine. I was fine. And so I'm like, okay, that's interesting. All right, so there's something stuck here, obviously. What is stuck? And I know a little bit about a few things in energy, and so I was like, okay, this has got to be stress or emotional, some kind of emotional block, and I'm holding back. And so am I playing small? What's the deal here? What am I not saying that I want to say? So that was a gift, because I've started opening up and stepping out a little bit more. And so I like to look at all things as a gift. Of course, I really, really, really like the big gifts, the big red packages with the gold bows and all that, and those are really nice. And I open them, and I'm like, yes. I mean, like I recently got a red bike. I literally did get a red bike, and it has a ladybug bell, and so that's a big, great gift, right? But then some gifts, and I have a lot of these too, are kind of thrown in a paper bag and crumpled up and just like thrown on your front porch. And you're like, wow, okay, that's ugly. Wow. And now those ones give me, they take every single ounce of reminder to breathe. They take everything to remind myself to stay calm. Those kind of gifts, those gifts that are super ugly that you weren't expecting, you know. And so I choose love and gratitude when I get those gifts. And I choose to do a mindset reset with myself, because this is not a quick fix prescription. It's not just take a pill in the morning, take it in the afternoon, you're going to feel great, right? It's a decision to live from every breath. Like when you get on the airplane and they tell you, take that oxygen mask and put it over yourself before you go assist anybody else. And you've heard that a million times, and I didn't get it until I wasn't taking that breath for me. And so I've made a decision that and actually I already knew this, especially going back 17, almost 18 years ago when I was training my body to have a baby without anybody else's help, you know, and leaning into that. And so I'm super passionate about breathing. I mean, really passionate about that. So it's a loving action for me. When I take care of me first, then others, then I have more time and more energy. I really do. So the prescription is for love. You are worthy of the time it takes to embrace this opportunity. And so I have for you these small tools to choose love for you. So take your word out of your bag and just look at that word. As you see this word, you're going to either really embrace the word or you might question the word. Mine happens to be abundance. Just take that word in and listen to whatever you think that word means, how it makes you feel. If it's not a word that resonates with you, what is another word that might mean that word? Remember, I said this prescription is not going to be easy. This kind of self-inner work is going to be the most rewarding, but it's also going to be the most challenging. So the intention of the card, this is what I call an Om card. It's a nice resonating sound when you're meditating. It's also an energy of love to you. And when I pull a card, I have an opportunity to do this every day, to connect to me and all the words and the feelings that I want to bring to me. Sometimes I have to pull them more, but depending on the season I'm in, because sometimes you need more self-reminders. When I'm tired, it's super hard to remember that I have the tools. So I must practice. So you already know. You come to these beautiful places. You come you go to church, or you go to yoga, or you go to meditation, or you go to a soul talk, or you meet up with a friend, and you have this inspirational aha. You feel connected, and you feel like you're full of hope, and that you can do anything. And then you step out into the real world, and you see other people that aren't really that connected. And then you're reminded, or you might be triggered. So just be aware of those experiences. And that's the key, is how do I feel right now? And how do I choose to breathe through this moment as I'm driving and people need blessings on the road? Because they're in a space that aren't being very careful with themselves or others. So I believe is a beautiful opportunity to pass this oil. And so you're going to receive this beautiful oil called Believe, and it is a essential oil blend, and there's 2 going around. Just take it and roll it in your hand. And I'm going to tell you what's in this because it is so powerful. Idaho balsam fir, to help you ground, to anchor, and to empower. As you roll it in your hand, you can just start taking a deep breath. Coriander, to help balance your emotions. Bergamot, to uplift and refresh. Frankincense, the holy incense, to enhance communication with spirit, promoting a positive attitude. Idaho blue spruce, to create balance, to give and receive. Ylang-ylang, to balance, and it's peaceful. And geranium, to lift your spirits and to foster hope and well-being, and allowing you to be open. So there's lots of science behind oils, and I'm not going to talk about that. There's lots of science behind how you create routines and rituals in your life and how they make you feel. There's a lot of science in how you go to bed at night, how that's going to affect your sleep, how you get up, and how you choose to set your day and in your rhythm. That really is the key to health and wellness, is having this morning ritual. And that's what I'm really serious about, is take this opportunity to accept my invitation. My invitation to this party, and the party is to celebrate you, which is why I gave you a little party bag, remember? Celebrate you. When you were born, you chose to take that breath. You came from love. You're born whole. And then life comes in and experiences happen, and sometimes you feel a little wrinkled up. I'm very intentional about the words I try to choose, so I like to sometimes I like to rewrite the words as they come out. Intention is the intention I have for the year, actually, is to be very intentional about every single thing I do. From when I get up, to how I choose to put my feet on the ground, to how I choose to smile, to how I choose what am I going to look at, what oil am I going to grab, what stretch am I going to do, what balance pose am I going to do. I choose that. I choose that. I choose the energy that I want. I'm the gatekeeper, and so are you. You're the gatekeeper of your energy, and you're the gatekeeper of your mind. So I have this practice that I use the oil with, and I've done this many places, and many people find it so empowering, so I said, how can I not do this here? So you have the oil in your hand already. So you take that oil, and you're going to be doing a 10-second breath. You're going to be taking a 5-second inhale and a 5-second exhale. So just try that first, a 5-second inhale. I always close my eyes because I think it's so beautiful that I have been given the permission to take a deeper breath. And so with that, I take this word called center, because that's what we really want to be. We want to be centered. We want to be calm. We want to be zen, or whatever works for you. You want to be filled with abundance. And so I take the word center, and there's 6 letters, C-E-N-T-E-R, and each letter I have a affirmation or incantation that you say on the inhale and on the exhale. And you're just going to experience this while I say it out loud. So the words will be in your head, and you'll just say them in your head. So on the inhale, we're going to say, I am. Exhale, completely stopping. On the inhale, I expect. Nothing. That means you have no expectation about anything different happening after this moment. The next letter is N. I name. My work. Your work right this moment is just to take this deep breath and be here, trusting and leaning into faith that this breath is going to take you somewhere. The next is T for trust. I trust. My resources. This tool, your breath, the oil, the science, your faith, meditation, nature, whatever it is, that's your resource. Next E is I embrace. This moment. And the last letter of center is R for return with strength. So I return with strength. You have the opportunity to take 1 minute out of your day to stop and center, because that's how long this takes when you practice this centering sequence, this 6 letters, C-E-N-T-E-R, and you can come to that complete stop when you're in the midst of a storm, right? You can choose to stop. You can choose to not expect anything to happen. And just change what you're doing. Reset. Your card has a color. And I love that rainbow came up a couple times today through the painting, through somebody's beautiful CD, through something else, something that you said maybe. So you have a color. Take that color in, and just another invitation for you to bathe yourself in that beautiful color, how that color makes you feel. I play a lot of games with the color. I do it while I'm driving. I do it while I'm sitting in the hot tub looking in nature, trying to find things, because it's an opportunity to reset your mind. I wear a bracelet every day. That's the next tool, and one of the last things I'm going to say about gratitude. I wear a bracelet because it reminds me, what would love do? Every day I intentionally put on a bracelet that reminds me to stop, to center, to connect, and take a deeper breath. I can choose that. And the last thing in your beautiful bag is a candle. And that candle represents light, obviously, so that was pretty cool. When I am light and I will be light, and I choose light, you can be light too. It only takes a small flicker to light up an entire room. This small, teeny, tiny light. You can be light. Just start where you're at with that small light. Choose to return to love. Choose to return to you. Blessings to you.